Hey, how's it going? This is Slick Rick.
Hey, Slicky Ricky, how you doing, pal? This is Koil Soze. I'm just ringing and asking if I could ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah, no problem.
How do you enjoy being a judge in Los Santos? Do you think the
Oh
law
no,
is
no, no.
going
I'm
well and it's great?
well. I'm not a judge. I'm a criminal lawyer.
Oh, a
But no,
lawyer, my
the
bad. Yeah,
no,
my
you're
bad.
good. No, everything's written like shit. It contradicts itself. It's written by a fucking
That's
child
enough.
with a
Thank
crown.
you. Yes, yeah, have a good day. Yes, he called them children and might as well have referenced crayons.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't think kids even get an answer.
Guess who I ran into earlier that you'd get a kick out of?
Guys.
Um. Hey, pal.
Labar.
Labar. Oh, Labar was around. Haven't
Mhm.
seen
He's a
Labar in a
doctor
while.
now.
A doctor.
He is a doctor now.
I saw. Well, Stan was here yesterday. I think. I don't know what the fuck he was doing around. Just randomly showed up out of the blue, and all of a
I
sudden
think he
he's
has
going with
dementia.
the.
He just kept mentioning fishing.
Yeah, that's what he said with me, and then Shiobon came. Shiobon came and picked him up. So
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't. 5 years ago, do you remember Siobhan?
Yeah, she was the longest sitting female judge.
Oh, she was a judge.
Yes, she was. She was a lawyer, and then she won one of the judicial elections and was a tenured judge.
That's very interesting, considering the whole. Well, God damn it. Hello.
Hi, I had a missed call.
Oh, hey there. I was just hey, my name's Kale Selzy. Just ringing up to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind, about your lawyer work in the city.
Sure. What can I do for
Um,
you?
Well, I was just going to ask what your experiences are with the law and how you think it's written, and do you think it's a good, healthy constitution and legislation at the moment?
Um, well, a little bit of background. I was a police officer. I quit about a month ago, and I've been a lawyer for about a week.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I guess my thoughts about the legislation and some of the ways that things are written. It's just that there's a lot of room for interpretation, and a lot of laws or legislation are very vague.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that it's kind of a benefit as a lawyer because you can kind of pick apart things. But I would say for a lot of criminals, it definitely leads them to be open. As far as officers
Prosecution.
interpreting the law.
Exactly. Hey, just out of curiosity, have you heard of any precedents set from any lawyers arguing their cases and changing the law at all?
I know that there is a new case law going into effect, but that's more about rights violations. Um, as far as laws being changed in court, I don't, I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I know that like different procedures have been put in place. Based on the outcome of some bench trials and
Mm-hmm.
like
So,
specifically with money laundering. I know
yeah,
that there were different procedures put in place
I believe
because
there
of
was
that.
four different precedents set, but we don't have access to them. So I'm curious when you say the vagueness helps a lawyer argue if it's been 6.5 months and only four things that we don't even know have changed. How exactly do you see that as a benefit to the lawyers?
The
If
vagueness
it's
fucks
the
us.
if the judge is the one that
Um,
can make the opinion of what is right.
Well, I guess maybe I didn't really say that the right way. For me, for instance, maybe it's more about
Yeah, I'll turn it down in a sec.
knowledge of the law. And as far as like the prosecution goes, or, officers' knowledge of the law,
Oh, I get what you
I
mean.
kind of find it a benefit that, maybe not all officers are quite clear on what certain laws
I
mean.
get what you're saying because, yeah, that does make sense. Hey, what's your standing in the Constitution itself? Do you see it above the legislations, or like in terms of authoritative law, or how do you perceive that viewpoint?
I feel like the Constitution is like the foundation or the basis of all of our laws,
Mm-hmm.
and it it should be how basically we all operate is based off of the Constitution. Like legislation is written, but it's, I would say, in line with the Constitution. Shouldn't be conflicting.
Yeah, yeah. That's the way I perceive it too. I'd see the Constitution as since it says it's giving to authorities power in the city. You would expect it to be the state authority that's endorsed it, and then the legislation would be based off the authority from the state with the two local municipal governments. I don't know. That's at least how I perceive it anyway. So it's strange that like people would create legislation that would be contradictory to certain elements in the Constitution. I just don't
I
understand the
think
logic in that one.
I think that maybe people aren't thinking about the Constitution as kind of an evolving document. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think things can change, based on time and what's going on. And instead of, going and amending things and making it consistent with what's happening today, they just kind of throw in new legislation that contradicts what's already there. And so then you have, one thing saying one, something, and, legislation saying another, but they're not really addressing the root problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, if that's the case, though, don't you find it interesting if the Constitution would be endorsed by the state that to go against it, would that not be treason to you, considering it's the only law of the state that we have so far?
To go against the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
you mean based on legislation that's been written that's contradictory?
Absolutely
Um,
anything that
So
goes
good.
against the state law, which is what I believe is the
He's talking to
Constitution.
another lawyer.
I mean, I think inherently the way that I'd have to look at the way that treason's written, the
I'd
wording
just
of
be
it, but
I'd be interested to hear your viewpoint on it for sure if you want to have a look at it
I mean, I
and
think
see.
Is this Soze?
I think if you want to look
Mhm.
at things like black
looked
and
so different
white,
last time I was
then
on.
you could make an argument that it is
Yeah,
treason.
he haunts this place like a haunted mansion. It's great.
But
Oh.
I think also
He looked
intent
like a bear last
is
time I saw
important to
him.
keep in mind. And I think when some of these legislations were written, it's not with the intent to overthrow or to,
Yeah.
destroy the Constitution or the government or the foundations of how we operate, but just rather to add to it. But
Mm-hmm.
I think intent is important to keep in mind. But again, I don't know.
Intent only matters sometimes. The
I think that
problem,
it's a little bit backwards in the way that some things are being handled right now.
yeah, I mean, the problem with intent is it's only used or valuable if it's against the police or the DOJ. You'll
Do
have
you have any
to
like questions?
improve
Or are you looking for
intent
Soze?
then. But if a person like me is driving in a police vehicle on a highway and the passenger or the driver, sorry, has an aneurysm, and I get in the driver's seat and drive it straight to the police station, so it's not parked in the highway. I get joyriding from the sheriff, and the DOJ endorses it, as well as the prosecutors. The intent there is what exactly?
To save their life.
Well, for me,
Uh,
I would be moving the vehicle to a safe location. The person that had the aneurysm just went to hospital, but I was just moving it off the road. But they still all pushed joyriding on me. So the problem with intent is these assholes will claim the spirit of the law or intent when it suits them, and it's justified to keep them happy and the people around them happy, rather than do what's right and use everything equally, which is a part of the due process in which every trial should be fair, not imbalanced in a way where a person can just change their mind because they feel like there's intent or not intent, or whatever the spirit of the law may be. The last time I saw a spirit in the law, it got thrown out of a helicopter and landed inside the fucking jail and died.
hmm.
My bad. Listen, anyway, listen, you look up the treason charge because I'm interested in your perspective. From my view, it only says of the state in a way you would need to be an entity of the state, so a senate, a state building, or like a state law. And the only way that would ever be possible is the Constitution or the state buildings, and there's only like 2 or 3 of them. So I don't know how anyone
No,
could actually
don't.
get
I
treason in the
distracted
city.
you. It's okay.
Apart from that is.
He's talking to Soze
Mm-mm.
in the courthouse.
Oh, I'm gonna go to the courthouse right now and look.
Soze?
Well, either way, give us a call back and let us know, okay? I don't want to keep
Yeah.
you hanging. It's just something to do in your spare time. I'd be curious to hear your opinion.
Do you mind my asking why you are inquiring?
Hey.
I mean, I talked to every judge and lawyer I could, and for you, you're one of the few that would at least see, I guess, both sides of an argument in a way that is natural. Considering you're a police officer, I can understand your viewpoint would be of a differing opinion to most criminal lawyers at the moment, because you've been on the police force. You'll understand that side. So I was just curious, basically generalized from that perspective.
Okay. I'm at the courthouse now. I'm gonna look at the
Oh,
treason charge.
I'm in here too, chatting with people too. So I'll just see you around. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Goodbye. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Oh, hey guys. Sorry